What is going on, everybody? And I hope you had a fantastic weekend. This is NYG Jeffy T 85, and we have arrived to Monday Night Football for the New York Giants hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the 2-0 New York Giants against the 1-1 Dallas Cowboys in a classic NFC East rivalry that we all know when these two teams meet up, we always are in for a big time, feisty, intense, and an amazing game all the time. And you know the trash talking has already started between Giants and Cowboys fans, me included. And I cannot wait for this game to happen tonight against the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm just going to tell you guys my keys to the game for the New York Giants to pull off the victory at home in front of their home crowd, and the Ring of Honor representatives that are going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor, including names such as Joe Morris, Rodney Hampton, Otis Anderson, as well as Leonard Marshall. And Lawrence Taylor is going to be in the building. So you know it's going to be an absolutely raucous MetLife Stadium, with some Cowboys fans there too, but mostly Giants fans. So I just want to tell you some of the keys, my keys to a Giants victory over the Dallas Cowboys tonight at MetLife. Now, my first key to the game, it has to be a very simple one. It has to be an effective one, but the Giants need to do that. And that, of course, is developing a pass rush enough to go up against that Dallas Cowboys offensive line and against backup quarterback Cooper Rush. We know for a fact that Cooper Rush, he played pretty well last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. But this has got a guy that is a Hall of Famer. He's not an elite quarterback. He's a backup quarterback for a reason. So the Giants have got to try to apply as much pressure as possible and make Cooper Rush uncomfortable inside the pocket, make him scramble out of the pocket, try to make a throw, put your hands up, knock the ball down, and even try to create some turnovers. Cooper Rush is a guy that has made some propensities to turn the ball over too. So the Giants need to establish a consistent pass rush. This is the first half of this game. The entire game, they got to make sure they make Cooper Rush uncomfortable. And the Dallas Cowboys offensive line is nothing to write home about. Besides their the right guard, All-Pro Zach Martin, the rest of that offensive line is suspect at best. And you have Terrence Steele at right tackle. He's not been that great. In fact, if anything, he's been average at best. With the fact they let La'el Collins go over to Cincinnati, he's not been good either, but just saying. You have the rookie Tyler Smith over at left tackle, taking over for Tyron Smith, who is out for the season with an injury. Tyron Smith has actually been pretty solid so far this season, but the Giants should be able to go out there, and with Wink Martindale, the way he brings and applies the pressure on the opposing offensive line and quarterback, I'm expecting the Giants to send as much of a blitz package as they can against the Dallas Cowboys and that offensive line, as well as their backup quarterback, Cooper Rush, and make it as uncomfortable as possible for Rush to be able to operate in a clean pocket. And even some better news for the New York Giants, they're getting back the two starting outside linebackers, Kayvon Thibodeau, as well as Azeez Ojulari, who will be making their season debut. For Thibodeau, his NFL regular season debut against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. So you want to talk about the stars being bright, the lights shining bright? You got it right there for Monday Night Football for these two guys to make their season debuts against the Dallas Cowboys of all teams. So the Giants should be able to send as much of a pass rush as possible and do not let Cooper Rush sit back there and be able to scan the field and find the open receiver. Because the Giants secondary, while it has been playing solid, it is still a secondary that can be beat, especially in the middle of the field, which I'm going to get to a little bit later on for one of my keys. But right now, the Giants have got to make sure that they get as much of a pass rush as possible on Cooper Rush and make him as uncomfortable as possible in that pocket. Put your hands up, knock some passes down, and make sure you try to create some turnovers, whether it's him throwing interceptions or you get some forced fumbles on him. That's my first key to the game. My second key to the game is, of course, establishing the run with SaquonBarkley, of course with DanielJones, and your backup running backs. The Giants did an awesome job in that first game establishing themselves a very strong run game against the Tennessee Titans, where SaquonBarkley pretty much went off for over 160 yards rushing, couple that with 30 yards receiving. but mainly that running game was working and it was clicking, and a lot of it had to do with that offensive line as well, being able to run block at a very high rate. And of course, SaquonBarkley breaking some tackles and running north and south, as well as being able at times to bounce off the outside and getting the type of blocking that he needed to be able to spring for some big runs on the outside. The Giants need to establish that run game, because you know for a fact the Dallas Cowboys, they're a lot stronger when it comes to their pass rush. And the Giants have got to make sure that they force Dallas to respect that run game. And it's going to try to find a way to negate that pass rush. Because if you can run the ball very well, Dallas is going to have to be a little bit wary about their pass rush, and they're not going to be able to send everybody after DanielJones. So the Giants, if they can run the ball consistently, and I'm talking about that interior offensive line especially, which they have struggled tremendously with the past game or so with their run blocking. SaquonBarkley was getting tackled a ton in the backfield against the Carolina Panthers. The Giants cannot allow that to happen, because if they allow the Dallas Cowboys to play consistently enough in stopping the run, stacking 8 or 9 in the box, and slowing down SaquonBarkley, they're going to pin their ears back and they're going to attack DanielJones and this offensive line. That while it's not horrendous by any means or stretch, the Giants' offensive line is still an offensive line that's learning to play with one another. So the Giants have got to do a good job establishing that run game. That includes some design runs with DanielJones at times. That's including also maybe doing some 2 or 3 2-back plays with having Brightwell, Breida, Barkley. Try to make sure you throw off this defense, throw off Dan Quinn and that defense over there, and make the Dallas Cowboys respect that run. Make the Dallas Cowboys respect the run game of the Giants, and then they won't be able to pin their ears back and be able to rush the passer consistently. So that's obviously the second biggest key of the game. The Giants have got to make sure they be able to establish the consistent run game in order for this team to go out there and develop and open up the passing game. I'm going to get to that later on. My third key to the game, special teams. Special teams is always going to be a big key for this Giants team. And when I talk about special teams, I mean in 2 aspects. The Giants have got to do a much better job in terms of their kickoff coverage. They've been up and down. And the Dallas Cowboys have a guy over there named Kevontae Turpin. Shout out to my guy Big Pat Sports Talk. He's talked about this guy a lot. He's been scouting him. Kevontae Turpin is a guy that can return it to the house at any given point because of his speed and elusiveness. So the Giants have got to make sure they play very good and strong punt and kick coverage against Turpin back there, and he doesn't get the Dallas Cowboys in a respectable field position and put the Giants already behind the 8 ball. And I'm going to go to the other side of the spectrum. The Giants have got to make sure they get themselves a very, very strong return game. And that's with Richie James and Gary Brightwell, who have been primarily the punt and kick returners for the New York Giants. They've got to make sure they put these guys in position to make sure that this team can be in solid field position and not be stuck at the 25, 20-yard line or so going into this game. So I'm looking for the Giants to make sure they be able to do some better job in terms of their punt blocking, in terms of their protection and blocking on the outside to give their return game a spark that they need. And in terms of their coverage, try to handle Kevontae Turpin and limit him from making some of those big plays in the return game going forward for the Dallas Cowboys. That's a big key for this game. And of course, the one thing that I do have confidence in, and a lot of Giants fans are going to have confidence in, is the kicking game as well as the punting game. Jamie Gillen right now has done an excellent job in terms of his punting for the New York Giants. He's got to consistently continue to do that out there and pin the Dallas Cowboys back in their own goal zone. And Graham Gano is pretty much been an automatic out there for the Giants in terms of the kicking game. The Giants really right now in terms of their special teams have got to do a better job when it comes to their punt coverage, kick coverage, and returning. That's the weakness right now of this Giants special teams. They have got to do a better job in the return game as well as the punt and kick coverage. Because Turpin is a weapon out there for the Dallas Cowboys. He's got good speed, he's got elusiveness, and he's going to go out there and he's going to try to break one to the house for that Dallas Cowboys team. And the Giants have got to be wary of that, and they've got to be ready. because you will not even expect it, and Turpin will be able to pull something that off. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if the Giants can do that, because it's going to be a big key in this game. Special teams always, for some reason, is a key to every single football game, and the Giants have got to make sure they watch out for Turpin. And Richie James and Gary Brightwell get this team in position where they can start off the games and start off their drives offensively in good field position. Maybe occasionally you take one into Dallas territory and put the Giants in already good position to maybe get a field goal at least. So that's my third key to the game, is the special teams. My fourth key to the game for the New York Giants is the coverage. And I'm talking mainly about the pass coverage in the middle of the field. And I'm talking about the linebacker position, because the linebacker position right now has struggled when it comes to their coverage. Some Giants fans are going to say the linebackers, the coverage isn't bad, the scheme will set itself up. No. The Giants' linebacker and middle of the field coverage has not been great. And you know for a fact the Dallas Cowboys are looking at the tape of some of the defensive spots that the Giants have been getting exploited in, and that's the middle of the field with the linebackers in coverage. And I'm talking about Austin Calitro, Michael McFadden, as well as Tay Crowder. And there's a reason why they might have signed Jalen Smith, because he knows the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, it's a different head coach now, but he knows what the Dallas Cowboys are about. So the Giants have got to do a better job in the middle of their field in terms of their coverage. And I'm even talking about guys like Darnay Holmes as well, who has struggled in terms of slot coverage. Because you know for a fact, if Dalton Schultz is able to play in this game, Schultz is going to be a big target over the middle. He's a very good tight end. You know that Cooper Rush is going to be looking to him a lot in this game. CeeDee Lamb normally plays the slot in the middle of the field, so he's going to try. The Dallas Cowboys are going to try to match CeeDee Lamb against Darnay Holmes and a lot of in their packages. So look out for that, as well as them leaking out Tony Pollard in the middle of that field and sit down in the zone and try to get that ball out of Cooper Rush's hands immediately and get the ball to Tony Pollard in the middle of the field. So just look out for something like that for the Dallas Cowboys. So the Giants have got to do a better job in their discipline at the linebacker position in terms of their coverage. They got to know where one another is, and they got to make sure that they don't try to backpedal too much and don't try to chase these guys in the backfield. Darnay Holmes has got to play better too. But especially that linebacker position, you know for a fact the Dallas Cowboys will attack that middle of the field of the Giants. Of course, they're going to attack the outside against our rookie cornerback, Cordell Flott. Michael Gallup is going to play in this game, so you know that Dallas is pretty much going to target the rookie as a guy that they're going to look at to exploit on the outside. But the Giants' middle of the field is where the biggest problem area is. And the Giants, of course, it's going to help out with the pass rush. If the Giants could get themselves an established pass rush, it's going to help out. But at the same time, the New York Football Giants have got to do a better job in their coverage in the middle of the field. And hopefully they're able to do that against a very, very solid running back in Tony Pollard, as well as a tight end in Dalton Schultz. And CeeDee Lamb, while he's not been off to a good start, you still have to respect CeeDee Lamb as a very good receiver in this NFL. So hopefully the Giants are going to be able to improve in the middle of the field in terms of their coverage. And my fifth, and what I think is the most important part, and the most important key to this entire game, Daniel Jones and the wide receivers have got to step up. It's time. It's time for that offensive line to pass protect better. It's time for that wide receiver core to step the hell up and make plays. And Daniel Jones, it's not been all your fault. Some Giants fans are going to say it's all your fault. I don't understand why it's all your fault. It's just the narrative. I'm a Daniel Jones in the middle guy. I will criticize you when you don't get the job done and when there's things you need to work on, and I will praise you when you do something that's correct. Daniel Jones, one thing you have to do, you need to stop being gun shy, and when you see somebody open in the middle of the field, using for a split second, make the throw. Do not even hesitate. If you see somebody breaking open in the middle of the field, throw it. Throw it. Put your trust in your receivers that you might not put your trust in before. I don't care who it is. Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, David Sills, Sterling Shepard, Richie James, Daniel Bellinger, Tanner Hudson, Saquon Barkley, Chris Myrick. I don't care who it is. You have to put your trust in your receivers that they will make the play. So if you see somebody streaking open, even for a split second, and you think you can make that throw, make the throw. Do not hesitate, because in the NFL, you only have split seconds to make a play. And if you hesitate too much, you're going to either you're going to create a turnover, or you're going to miss an opportunity to get a first down, a big play. DanielJones has had times where he's hesitated at times to make those plays. He cannot be afraid to do that. And in terms of this wide receiver core, it's time. Kenny Golladay had 2 snaps in the game against the Carolina Panthers. This guy has been a $72 million flop if I've ever seen one. He's done nothing so far. Kenny Golladay needs to come out on Monday Night Football and make a statement saying that I'm not that crap of a football player and I can go out there and make a play. And for God's sakes, get in the end zone and score a touchdown, KG. Darius Slayton needs to play. The Giants have been getting bracketed way too much. Way too much right now because nobody respects the Giants wide receivers in terms of their deep speed. Credit to my guys, Big Pat Sports Talk, Classified 3F with Joel, NYG22, Sevi Mizrahi, GiantsNation Inside Sports, Jay Lay, all these guys for the film work that they did the past couple of weeks. Because they pretty much showed the film work on tape for what teams have been doing against us. And they've been doing a lot of cover 2, trying to take away the run game because they know they do not respect our deep speed. Put Darius Slayton out there, and even if you use him as a decoy, send him deep, make the Cowboys respect his deep speed, and it opens up the middle of that field to be able to operate and make the short passes, which you want to do for some of those slants, some of those crisscrosses, some of those quick passes over the middle. Get Darius Slayton on the field. I don't know about Kadarius Toney. He's right now listed as doubtful to play, so it looks like he's going to miss the next game. Wan'Dale Robinson's out, so the Giants look like they're going to be shorthanded there. David Sills is not the guy. He's pretty much a decoy out there. I appreciate him playing as hard as he can. He's not the guy. I want Darius Slayton, and I want Kenny Golladay, and if somehow Kadarius Toney get on the field, those are the 3 guys I'm expecting to step up. Richie James has done his part. He's been the number 1 receiver right now on this team, and Sterling Shepard, coming off an Achilles injury, has done very well too. It's time for Golladay, Toney, and Slayton to start making their impacts on this offense. Because no disrespect to Richie James, I like him as a player. He's been one of those guys I said could be a factor in this team. He's not a number 1 receiver. He's probably not even a number 3 receiver. He's a good depth player. But you need your stars and your better players to step up and make plays. And this offensive line's got to do a much better job protecting. And I'm talking about the interior of the offensive line. Mark Lewinsky, John Feliciano, and I don't care who plays at left guard. Whether it's Josh Azudu or Ben Bredesen, they need to do a better job giving DanielJones the opportunity to find the open receiver because they're breaking down way too much in their pass blocking, and DanielJones is too busy on the run trying to save himself and make a play. That's no excuse for DanielJones. He's made some stupid plays too. But this offensive line has been terrible, and don't tell me that they have not. The offensive line has been awful so far in terms of pass protecting, not named Andrew Thomas. Even Evan Neal at times has struggled in terms of his pass protection. But that's just my biggest key to this game is the wide receivers, DanielJones, the pass blocking on the offensive line. The passing offense has got to get better because we are not winning these football games consistently if we have to keep relying on the run game and the defense. You need this offense eventually in the passing game to step up and make some plays. And hopefully they're going to do this against a very, very aggressive Dallas Cowboys offense, which will have tendencies to get beat because they play way too over-aggressive. And hopefully the Giants will take advantage of that, especially a cornerback like Trayvon Diggs, who has the tendency to jump routes and play very aggressive out there. And if you could pull a double move on him, you could throw a double slant, you could maybe do like a double crisscross, throw some trick plays out there to make Diggs and this defense bite. You could hit a big play on them deep. And that's where a guy like Darius Slayton could take advantage of. A double move on the outside by Shepard and Golladay. This is your chance right now. You've been getting crapped on by the media, by fans, this entire offseason and training camp and preseason. This is your opportunity, Kenny Golladay, to go out there and shut us all up and have yourself a big game. just for this week and show that you care. Go out there and prove us wrong. Because I will definitely come on here and I will tell you, you proved me wrong if you go out there and show it. So those are my keys to the game for the New York Giants to get a victory against the Dallas Cowboys at MetLife Stadium, Monday Night Football. My first key to the game, just to review it again, pass rush. Giants have to get a consistent pass rush and make Cooper Rush and that offensive line as uncomfortable as possible and create some turnovers. Key number 2, establish the running game for the New York Giants. Get themselves a consistent running game and make the Dallas Cowboys honor that run game, and it's going to set up more plays easier for the passing game. Key number 3, do a good job on special teams. And when I talk about special teams, I'm talking about coverage units. Make sure you do not allow a guy like Kayvontae Turpin to break one to the house or even get the Cowboys in good field position, and get a good solid return game so you can put your team in good field position on the offensive side of the ball. My fourth key to the game, linebacker coverage has got to be better in the middle of the field coverage, including the slot cornerback. You have to make sure you do a better job in your discipline. Don't trail some of these guys when they run out of their box and run over to the middle of the field, including maybe even a seam route in the middle. You need to do a better job with that. And you cannot allow this team to dink and dunk and get plays over the middle, because they're going to get the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands quickly and try to exploit the middle of our field. And key number 5, in my opinion, the biggest key of them all, DanielJones can't be gun shy and hesitate anymore. He's got to make the throws then when they're there. Make the throws when they're there and do not hesitate. The pass blocking on the offensive line has got to do leaps and bounds better against a very good Dallas Cowboys pass rush. Let's not question it. Dallas Cowboys have a good pass rush, and they will test out that offensive line, especially in the interior. And these wide receivers have got to step up. Richie James and Sterling Shepard have been doing a very good job so far, but they need help. Kenny Golladay, if he plays, Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, these guys have got to get in the game and they've got to make plays and help out their quarterback, DanielJones. So I hope you guys like this video. And if you guys like this video, hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more news, updates, game predictions, as well as keys to the game surrounding the New York Football Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications in the next video or short that's going to be hopping on the channel. And let me know in the comment section what your keys to the game are for the New York Giants to pull off a victory against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football at MetLife Stadium and advance their record to 3-0. Yes, 3-0 against the Dallas Cowboys. So I hope everybody enjoys your Monday. I know everybody's hyped up. I know I'm hyped up. It's Giants Cowboys. The trash talking is going. The banner waving is flying. Everybody that goes to the game have an awesome time there at MetLife. It should be a crazy atmosphere. Giants Cowboys is always like that. And let's just go out. Let's see the Giants go out there and shut all the people up that think we are a pretender 2-0 team. We still need to make sure that we go out there and we play a disciplined football game. We don't make mistakes and we play to our keys. We need to make sure we go out there and we do not make mistakes that are going to cost us the game. And don't get overconfident. Dallas Cowboys can still be a team that can beat us. Don't get too overconfident and handle your business. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Take it easy and let's go New York Football Giants. As always, everyone, together blue.